So what happens when the mouth gets too big on your wooden sole plane? Well, the nice thing with a wooden sole is you can put on a new sole. Let's dive in. This is a Stanley number 36 transitional plane. And one of the problems with wooden soles is when you want to flatten them, you take off more material, and eventually that means the mouth gets really, really big. So at some point you need to resole it, or you could close up the mouth with a filler piece. And in this case, because it's metal adjustable, putting a filler in there isn't going to work quite as well. So we're going to take this apart, and we are going to glue on a new sole, recut the mouth, and make this thing functional again. After looking through the wood in my stock, I have this rosewood that I think would work perfectly for it. And rosewood sole is something that's somewhat coveted in the sole world. And so we're going to be working out of this. And I want to cut it down to length. I'm cutting off this piece here where the grain is going the opposite direction because I want all of the grain on the sole to be running in the same direction. That way when you're planing, you're always laying the grain down on the sole of the plane. So it's angling down towards the back. So I'm going to lay that out on here, trace out roughly what I need, and then I don't need it to be this full 3/4 inch thick, so I'm going to resaw it down to something a little over 1/4 inch. I only need about 1/4 inch on the sole to bring it to full depth, which means I get to pull out the frame saw, and this is a lot of fun to play with. Especially something small like this, it really doesn't take that long. And when you set it up right and you run through it, this thing goes very, very quickly to run through it. The thing is you just want to flip it every so often, and that way you're only cutting on the side that you can see the line on, and you just keep going until you're through it. It's one of those things that scares a lot of people the first time. They think, wow, this is going to take a lot to get through, but it's surprisingly easy. Then I'm going to use my turning saw and then cut along the line. Make sure you go ziggy, zaggy, ziggy, zaggy so you get a nice bumpy curve on there. My blade is actually a bit twisted, and so I was having some fun with it on that one. I need to get a new blade for it. We're going to take this apart and get it ready to glue up. I want to make sure that the sole is perfectly flat and true, and that the piece of wood I'm gluing it to is also perfectly flat and true. And this one was a long ways off. And to flatten a sole, you use another plane. I could pull out the glass and sand it, but I find that working with a plane is just as fast and easy. Plus I can use winding sticks and get it very, very accurate. With these sticking all the way out to that side, I've got a lot of leverage on the end that shows me small, minute changes of just a shaving or two. Then I'm going to bring it back over to the block and then plane that down and do the exact same thing to the piece of wood. For the connection between these, I'm going to be using Total Boat High Performance. It is one of my favorites for when I really need a strong adhesion, and I have the medium speed in this one. So we'll put that on there, slather it on as much as we want, and then we'll squeeze it down on. So don't worry about overcoating or undercoating, just get the right amount on there, and then once you put enough pressure onto it, it will get it down to where it needs to be. One of the nice things about epoxy is it's very flexible. You really have a hard time over or under doing it, and you don't need a lot of clamping pressure like you do with PVAs. So epoxy is something that has a lot of it is wiggle room. So we're going to put this on here and clamp it down. I'll put 4 clamps on it. None of these have a crazy amount of force, just enough to hold it in place, and then a little bit more. Good crank at the handle. One for either end and one on either side, and this will hold it down on. We'll let that sit overnight, and then we will come back and take them all off and clean them up. Most of the rest of this is just going to be fitting this sole down in. But before I start planing the bottom, what I want to actually do is create a V cut in the bottom. So I'm referencing both the front face and the back face of the old body. And I'm going to take it down until those two almost touch. And then just have a small point at the bottom. And then we can flip it over and start planing the bottom. And I want to go until I can just see the opening popping through. And I'm taking my time, taking very light passes, making sure I'm getting it nice and flat. And I'll check it with the winding sticks occasionally. And I want to wait until I see, oh, yep, there it is. I just see the hair of that line popping out. I'm going to take a few more shavings until I can get a knife blade in there, and then I can start working it out. The mouth is going to need to be a lot bigger than this, so I have a lot of leeway to work with. But I want to bring it back to this side before I go any farther and clean up this. You can see how there's still some chisel marks at the bottom. I want to clean those out and get it nice and smooth and true. I'm going to be hammering in the blade on here, and that actually makes a mark on the front of the mouth. That mark lets me know how far I need to go to it. And I want to actually work it until I can get this small 16th inch file in here. This allows me to do all of the final detail on both the front and back of the mouth. And then I can come in with the chisel and do the little bit of relief I need to do in the front of the mouth, because I want to make sure there's enough space in there for the chips to come out rather than having them clog. Once that's all done and nice the way it needs, now we need to flatten the sole and bring it down to true. At this point, if I put the iron in there, the iron just touches the front, and I want to take it until I have a little bit of space in front of the iron. With a wooden body, you don't want it to be really tight. You want to have a little bit of space in front of the iron. Then we can clean up the sole. The rest of it I'm going to be doing mostly with the spoke shave to get it down close to the work. On some of the corners, I'll be using files and chisels, and then I can come in with a scraper plane, card scraper, and clean up the rest. I'm going to be taking off the old finish because tying in shellac to shellac is always, it just never comes out quite right. And so I'm going to be cleaning off the surface with the old shellac, and that way I get a nice clean transfer from one to the other. So we're just going to scrape it all down and take off the littlest amount we possibly need to. Some of these corners are a little bit fiddly to work with the card scraper, and I find working on a file there is exactly what it needs. And it allows you to go just until the moment you need to stop. On the end grain, you want to be careful. I'm going to be planing in towards the middle, but I'm not going to go out the other side, and I'll flip it around and plane from the other side to the middle. And then on the nose of this, I don't want to scrape it all off because I still want to see the marking on there, but I do want to take the finish off. So coming into the file is a nice way to just touch it up, and I can actually clean the transfer so I can put the shellac on there and have it appear. Before I go any farther, I'm going to hit it with some 400 grit sandpaper, not really to sand it, but it shows a lot of the imperfections, little spots where I need to come back in and scrape a little bit more. And I can scrape that down and clean it up and get ready for the finish. For the finish on this, we're going to be using shellac. That was what was on there beforehand, so it makes really nice if there's anything left on there that will bond into it. But I really want to water this down a good bit. I want to have a thin coat, because I can actually paint it on relatively heavy, just making sure there's no drips. And when the alcohol dries, it leaves behind a very, very thin coat. And I'm going to be doing about 7 coats on this to get it down to where I want. And so it looks like it's really, really heavy right now, but it's very runny and watery. That allows you to put in that really thin coat that gives you a nice, clean look between them. So at this point, I thought I'm just going to put it all back together and show some videos of using it. And when I put it all back together, I found out there's lots of other problems to this we've got to fix. Number one, the wood body here is not parallel with the body here. This is twisted in comparison to the flat of the frog. So I need to do some adjustment on the sole in here. On top of that, the last couple passes flattening this, I had this thing just chip out of there suddenly. So I'm going to put in a fill block in here and then readdress that bed and make this thing actually work really nice like. So I went back and got some more of that same rosewood and tried to find a place that was somewhat similar, measured out approximately the size of the block that will glue in there, and then cut it down. And this is actually the cutoff from the resoling, so it ended up being exactly what I needed. I'm not going to take it down to the full depth of the body, just about 3/4 of the way down, just a little bit past the chip out. I like to use some double-sided tape. This is the same method I use for putting in butterflies. It works very, very well for holding it in place so I can get a perfect transfer mark. Now at this point I want to be very, very careful. I don't want to cause any more problems to the sole that is currently there. So I'm going to be marking in with the chisel a little ways away from the line. I'm going to remove the first layer with a chisel bevel down, and then I can come in at the router plane and then take it all down to depth. And I want to go past where the chip out is and then a little bit farther, just giving yourself a nice bit on there. And I'm still staying a long ways away from the line until I get really close to it. Then I'll come back and hit the line exactly. I want to go until it just about goes in, and I don't want to push it in all the way. Take it out, and then we can put some glue in. And for this, there really isn't going to be a lot of structure, and I want to get back to it today. So I'm going to be using a structural 5-minute epoxy from Total Boat. And this actually works out really well for filling this in and being able to get back to work the same day. Once it has cured and is locked in place, then we can come back and plane it off. Going cross grain to take off most of the material, and then I can come back in with my same smoothing plane and get those nice, beautiful shavings that just kind of clean the whole thing up. And so this will get me down very, very close to where I need to be. But we still need to go back and readdress the mouth because now we have something else blocking it that we just put in. So we're going to do the same steps we did before with the chisel, and then come in with the file and smooth out the bed and make sure that everything is copacetic and exactly where we want it to be. And now we can put it all back together. And hopefully this time it will all work. One of the problems with the transitionals is when putting them in, you want to make sure that the frog is perfectly parallel with the mouth. And I had to do a little bit of filing in that because the mouth was actually twisted inside. And so I wanted to flatten that out a bit. You want to make sure the frog is perfectly in line with it. This one, you can't move the frog back and forth because the mouth inside the wood is exactly where you want it to be. And just like that, we can take it for a test run, and yeah, it's a happy shaving right there. I want to see how thin we can get it, and I got it down to just over a thousandth of an inch. So really nice, beautiful, thin shavings that float. They almost go upwards rather than down. Gravity has no effect on these beautiful things. And yeah, oh look, there's a pretty plane back there too. This is a fun one. I really enjoyed this, and it's a rather simple task, but very enjoyable. So there you have it, a new sole on this Stanley number 36. A friend of the channel contacted me and said, hey, I made the plane, did the restoration on it, except for I need a new sole on there, and I don't know if I really want to do that. Would you do it for me? And I said, well, I've never done a video on resoling a plane, so this would be a great one. So I was looking through a bunch of things. I could have done the original Beach on this, but Rosewood is a great alternative that a lot of people love to resole it with because it's far more durable and long-lasting, and it just looks good. It matches the tote. And so I had a beautiful piece of Rosewood and put that on there, and I really like how this came out. I can get shavings down to about a thousandth of an inch, and it was a great plane that will last for a long time more until it needs to be resoled one more time. So I hope you like this. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, throw them down below because that does help out the channel. Even for the people who like to say some really weird things, thank you. You guys help us keep going, and without you guys, we wouldn't be here. You know how the algorithm works. So if you want to help us out even more and just put thank you down below, thank you. If you want to go even farther though, there's a bunch of names over here, and those are all of the fantastic, wonderful, benevolent, and gorgeous people over on Patreon. Because without patrons, we wouldn't exist. We're completely sponsored by you guys. Between patrons and members, people who click the thank you button, honestly, thank you. You guys keep the lights on and keep us going. And so if you want to find out more about that, well, you know what to do. I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. All dogs may go to heaven. However, planes, they can get a whole new soul.